Veer is coming to Raw. We swear. And he is. I know you've been fed with these disgusting, heinous lies that Veer is never coming to Raw. You've been told that Veer is never gonna come, but he will.
I'm gonna come.
I mean, take a look at this. Call your friends because Veer Mahan is coming to Raw. I have to call my buddies. Hey guys, I know you don't watch wrestling, but you should be starting right about now because Veer is coming. Hey, so, have you watched Raw lately? Oh, yeah, it was good. Boss successfully retained the Universal Championship. Anyway, look out because Veer is gonna come anytime now. Oh, they're all dead now.
I'm gonna come.
Welcome back to the channel, amigos. Make sure to click that like button if you can't wait for Veer to come. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now, but Raw is kinda getting better. I mean, for me, the biggest highlight, honestly, was Omos finally being split from AJ Styles. Not only am I excited about Omos singles push, I mean, he's a big boy, yum yum yum, but I really miss this version of AJ Styles. AJ Styles, that was once my favorite WWE wrestler. Finally, instead of simping for and fetishizing these big men, he's going to be a main eventer again. But Raw starts and Bobby is ready to awesome. I love the way Bobby looks. You know, women always say they love the bad boys, and that is a bad boy right here. And they boast about beating Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Big E in the same night. Bobby didn't even need MVP's help. Just a coincidence.
None of you people are athletes, you're pretty pathetic.
Well, I don't know about that. Obviously, they said that Bobby Lashley is going to win the WWE Championship, and we're gonna live in the almighty era Big E interrupts. And Big E says, you did everything that you told you're going to do, but I got attacked by MVP. Big E said, Bobby is strong, dominant, he has a lot of sisters. Ooh, no, you don't ever mention Bobby's sisters. Bobby is all about women. And it's not just about sticking his schmeckle in places. He respects women. And he respects his sisters too, goddammit. Like I've said, Big E calls out Bobby Lashley for needing MVP's help, but Bobby says, I didn't even ask for it, that was all on MVP. And then Bobby tells MVP to fight Big E. We're about to see the brawl, but then we see Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins teaming up, attacking Bobby Lashley. And at first they worked pretty well together, until Big E and Bobby Lashley teamed up and cleared the ring. I smell something. Mostly farts, but I smell not Coco Jumbo. I smell someone trying to coexist. It's such a meme at this point, even WWE are self-aware. Adam Pearce announced a tag team match, you know, Big E and Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. He calls it a C word. I'm pretty sure it stands for and WWE are actually making fun of it on Twitter. Can WWE champion Big E and Bobby tonight? It's a slur at this point. It's a filthy, disgusting word that needs to be deleted from pro wrestling. And WWE are self-aware and they're like, yeah, we hate it. We know how much our fans hate it. It's horrible. It's repetitive. It's happening every week. We just can't help it. We love it. Honestly, we should stop doing it. Silly us. I know you don't want to see it again, but maybe one more time. Can they? That's the question, ladies and gentlemen. Can they We saw Dewdrop versus Bianca Bellero again, which is, I mean, come on guys. Whatever. The only interesting spot of the match was the finish when Bianca hit her finisher. Doudrop is a big girl, so that's impressive, and Bianca Bellero wins the match, and that might be just the end of the push. A very unimportant and pretty boring rivalry. After Bianca won the Survivor Series match, it kinda seemed like she's going to get something a lot more important, and this ain't it. He's gonna be in a match against Finn Balor later tonight, and he says, I'm gonna prove Vince McMahon that I deserve his whatever this relationship is, and I'm gonna beat Finn Balor. And I think WWE just found the next big thing in this guy. My man is not playing around. You better hope you don't lose. As we see this intimidating gaze. Wow. If you lose, maybe it's time for me to step up. So then we saw Finn Balor versus Austin Theory, and it was alright, you know. I'm interested in where this is going. I'm interested in what kind of plans Vince McMahon and the creative actually have for Austin Theory, and I hope it's not just for a couple of laughs. Austin Theory hit a very impressive move to Finn Balor, but then he played himself by taking selfies, and of course, he lost the match when Finn Balor hit the coup de grace. So this is pretty interesting, and WWE are so self-aware at this point, they keep mentioning all the fired wrestlers, or actually, more like giving us little Easter eggs during the show. And Austin Theory is just not ready to meet Vince McMahon. We see Miz talking to Omos. We see AJ Styles, he's all pumped up about the match against Mysterios, and Omos looks uninterested. We can only imagine what this conversation was about. We found out later on the show, but I don't really buy it, if I'm being honest. I don't buy it one bit. The Miz probably asked, "You're tall, Omos. But how big is your..." We can only imagine. We see Miz TV, and he introduces us to Omos and AJ Styles. For whatever reason, things got heated. Miz and AJ Styles started arguing as if they are actually, in a rivalry. He keeps asking questions. Has the magic left? Is this tag team about to break up? AJ Styles says there's nothing wrong, but AJ Styles kept mentioning how Miz's relationship with Maurice is also falling apart. Miz gets angry and says, "Well, earlier Omos told me that he's tired of you and you're holding him back and he can't wait to, end this relationship or whatever." And AJ Styles is not really buying it. So then he asks Omos, "Well, okay, is that what you said? Tell me how you feel." But then Mysterios interrupted, we saw the match, and that was your conclusion tonight. I actually didn't expect that at all. Omos refused to tag AJ Styles. We saw a roll-up and the Mysterios won. AJ gets angry and says, "I never should have put you under my wing, cause you're a piece of trash." Omos pushes AJ. AJ punches Omos, and did some moves that basically looked like AJ is fighting an over-leveled boss in a video game. We see a brawl. AJ was about to do the phenomenal forearm, but Omos catches him and slams him to the floor. "The next time I'll see you, it's gonna be in a match against me. Big boy, big balls, yeah." Finally, I've been waiting for this day for a very long time now. Finally, AJ Styles can be used as a main eventer because, we need fresh rivalries, new storylines, and AJ being in the tag team division basically takes away a major player from the WWE in some very insignificant rivalries that don't really matter at all, and they had a decent run. I'm not saying it was horrible, but it was really time to break this team up and finally give us AJ Styles that we actually really want to see. It's kind of a shame AJ is not on SmackDown because I would be down for AJ versus Roman Reigns. I think this storyline still has a lot of potential. It would be amazing. AJ Styles as a babyface is always better in my opinion. I know it's unpopular, but it's kind of a shame. But I'm just glad these two are finally breaking up. Then we saw Randy Orton versus Chad Gable, which was, a pretty interesting match. And Chad Gable ate that RKO, man. That looked impressive. Orton wins the match, then we see Otis. Randy tried to do an RKO, but Otis gets out of it. They're really high on Otis. For whatever reason, they've always been. Whether it was the guy who was eating a lot and playing dumb, but getting the ladies, or this version of Otis was basically a monster. For whatever reason, I'm not saying he's not talented, but it's always kind of interesting to me how WWE are like, yeah, Aleister Black, not seeing anything in that guy, but Otis. And again, Otis is great. I'm just saying. Then we saw a championship contenders match. Damian Priest versus Dolph Ziggler. So during this match, obviously Bobby Roode or Robert Roode interfered a lot. This ultimately cost Damian Priest the match because Damian got counted out. But then, he attacked Bobby again, or Roode, Robert, whatever his name is. Say it with me, who honestly gives a crap. Ziggler is not winning the championship, as Ziggler is one of my favorite WWE wrestlers of all time, but at this point, who can honestly take this seriously? Austin Theory attacks Finn Balor, and then tells Vince McMahon, "Did you see what I did? Maybe I lost, but then I attacked Finn Balor and I showed dominance," and Vince is like, "Yeah, I liked it. It was great. But you lost." And then the boss said this: "I like firing people, especially during the holidays. It gives me a warm feeling in my stomach, just like after I have a great meal." Well, He ain't lying, I can tell you that for sure. The man ain't lying. And then he erases something and, you know, basically insinuates that I can fire you too. But he puts him in a rematch next week. A rematch on Raw. We saw Cutting Edge with Maurice, and Maurice is obviously full of shit. She's basically talking about how it's hard to be Miz's wife and she's taking care of everything. And she's crying, saying that, you know, I could be hurt right now, Edge. You could have hurt me. Would you ever do this to your wife, Beth? And Edge, at first, seemed like he's buying it, but then he's like, you're full of shit. You know, you're lying. I'm just waiting for the Miz to interrupt right now and attack me. And then we see the Miz, we saw a brawl. Maurice slaps Edge in the face. We see a skull-crushing finale. How unexpected. While I do believe this is still one of the better WWE rivalries we have right now, at the same time, compared to what we saw in the first week, it's really not even close, and I'm really losing interest. I'm sure this is gonna lead to Beth Phoenix returning, and it's gonna be good. I am losing interest, if I'm being honest. There's really nothing new with Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch in my opinion, but what's worth talking about is these cinematic kinda, you know, attacks of Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch. They showed a first-person camera as if Liv Morgan was wearing a camera on her forehead and then removed it and attacked Becky Lynch. It's weird, it's silly. And in the main event, we saw the tag team match, Big E and Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, which was pretty okay, and I liked it. You know, I liked the ending. Even though Bobby Lashley and Big E won, Seth Rollins goes straight for the curb stomp, which was actually pretty impressive. And even though they lost, they still came out on top. They teamed up, attacked Bobby Lashley, curb stomp on the steel steps, a handshake, a hug. Seems like we're getting a new bromance, which is pretty awesome. You know, it kind of reminds me of Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, and that's the Kevin Owens that I really missed. And it's awesome. You know, I'm not gonna complain. Sure, the match is really predictable, and that's probably the biggest issue I have with this. And well, another issue I have is that, you know, it really takes a lot of interest away from Big E. Like, the highlight of this is obviously Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens, this relationship. Everything else is just kinda there. As much as I'm trying to enjoy this championship title reign of Big E, and I still hope it's gonna get better, so far, it's really not that good. WWE really did Big E dirty with this. I'm happy he's a champion, but so far there's not a single moment that in a couple of years you'll be like, yeah, I remember when Big E was a champion and he did this. But yeah, that was your Raw. And to end this video, I just want to say WWE is like anime right now. Not because it's full of action or anything like that. It's because everything leading to one moment is basically just filler. Everything before Veer actually comes is a filler. And none of that actually matters. WWE has been around for decades right now, but the only moment that will matter is when Veer finally comes.